first one, for motivation, attitude change. Optimist sees the glass half full, not half empty. Walks by faith and not by sight. That is from 2.
Now you also have to read for us 1 Corinthians 5:7. Now what I'm saying is, how do you start a project when you can't see the end? You know, if you are trying to get a house, if you've got an architectural drawing, then tell your children, we need to change our eating habits. You don't have to go there. Once they have seen it, they are willing to stop getting. It can be porridge every day. No sausages. So they can go to the house. Yeah. Can you see how they motivate? Yes. Similarly, when you discover what God's calling in your life is, every day you wake up ready. Because there's something you're trying to achieve. It becomes, getting to know God's will becomes a motivation. Just read the verse.
2 Corinthians 5:7. For we walk by faith, not by sight.
Very important to understand. It is that vision which you have seen, which helps you on a daily basis, because you believe it to happen, to walk towards it by faith. We walk by faith, not by sight. So you need to get that picture. You need to get that vision. Clarity of that vision. And my book suggests that one of the best methods is to, in prayer, to sit down and write your birthday speech when you are 80. You know, when you are 80, I'm only 70. Now, when you are 80, you do not talk about what you will do. You talk about what you have done. So during your birthday, everybody is talking about what you have done. What do you hear them saying? So my book suggests you write about 6 to 7 speeches. One speech is by your spouse, whom you don't have now. No, this one has. Yeah. And you ask, what do you hear her saying? What do you hear him saying? Oh, you know, today is the birthday of my husband. I just want to tell you what he has meant to me in life. He is my clock. He wakes me every morning. Now you can't write that if you don't wake up. You see, once you see the vision, it motivates you what you do to her, isn't it? What you hear her saying is your impact. Is what will determine how you relate with her now. Because you see, you are writing the speech, it's a confidential speech. And then you are hoping to keep it in hiding. When you are 80, you tell her, you don't have to write a speech. I don't want it for you. If you don't agree with it, don't read it. If you agree with it, read it. But you wrote it when you are 25. And now she is reading it when you are 80. 55 years later. So that idea of getting a vision of how the impact on your wife will be at the age of 80 will give you a motivation to wake her in the morning. Because you want her to say that at the end. What do you see what do you hear her saying? So vision acts as a motivator. Because it gives you something to look forward to. The other speech, my book will tell you, the other speech is a speech by your children. Either biological or people you have mentored. And they are attending the party. One of them is giving a speech. My father is the source of all my values. You say that, then you cannot take a job away from your children. Because they say the worldview of a child is made up by the age of 12. Beyond 12, anything you tell him, he asks, he doesn't agree with you. If by the age of 12 he has not eaten a donkey meat, he will not agree to eat donkey meat. Because according to him, donkey meat is not for human beings. But at the age of 2, if they eat whatever meat is available. So you can see clearly, if you want a child to say his values are your values, it means before your last born is 12, you cannot take a job away from home. Can you see the impact of that vision? It becomes the source of your, and it's very, very important that is clear. And my prayer is that when you go to my book, you see, to write a purpose statement, there must be a vision, which is a noun, but a vision describes what you have achieved at the end. Number 2, there must be a mission. Mission is a verb. What do you do to achieve? The vision. And then beyond that are core values. What are core values? Core values are non-negotiable convictions. Non-negotiable. In other words, you believe them so much that you are willing to fail to get your vision if you have to break them. For example, in your vision, you intend to be a CEO of an oil company. I work for an oil company. But in the process, the boss is saying, can you take me to Naivasha for a weekend? And you say, my core value is sexual purity. But it's very clear. You don't agree to go to Naivasha, no promotion. You have no difficulty failing to get a promotion. Because the vision out there and your core values do not allow you to go to Naivasha. And you see, once you are clear there, making daily decisions becomes very easy. You go for a date, no, it's for you, it's too late. You go for a date with a girl, and you are hearing God calling you to go to Saudi Arabia as a missionary, a professional worker as a missionary. Then she's talking about how she's going to get a green card and she's going to America. Any more dates? That's the final one, isn't it? Because her vision and your vision don't agree. And vision is what people marry. It's visions that marry, not people. You come together to fulfill vision. So the first important thing to find out of the girl before you marry her, what's her vision? Do you have a common destiny? Do you describe the future similarly? If you don't, it can be a problem. Now I use a lot of my money, our money, family money, in preaching. Yesterday I was in Kijabi with some missionaries. Then I'm going somewhere. We use a lot of our money that way. If I had not married a girl who understands the importance of mission, there will be chaos at home. Are you getting my point? Yeah, I get an invitation by Masido Molino. I have to fly to Kisumu, and there's not 2 shillings. Then pick a taxi from there to Kakamega. I have cleared a plot. I'm a Kikuyu. So you can see clearly, if you marry the wrong girl, you can say quietly to your vision. This talk is especially important for Maina because he's not married. You're not married.
He's engaged.
Why are you married?
I'm engaged.
Yes. Yeah. Because I don't want him to hear too much. But it's important. I'm still on the point. Why you need to know your vision. It acts as your motivator for the rest of your life. Once I clarified in my mind what my calling is, I've used the last many years just doing it. Whatever I do, I ask myself, but is it aligned to my calling? And that's a critical. So it makes many things become easy to answer. And that's why you need, one of the things camp was started to clarify is your purpose. Before you finish camp, you must be clear at the age of 80. What do you think you have accomplished? That's part of the camp process. Must get you to have a clarity. Before the time you leave, you are clear. This is what my life will amount to. That's what I've heard from the Lord. Now, if you go that speed, I will not finish. But the next person can read the other one.
Joy when you do what you are created for. Feel called to it, irrespective of difficulties.
You know, in writing your mission statement, I normally ask you to write 10 things that you do well. You just, whenever you do it, you don't always very happy with doing. Maybe you are good with children. Even the mother is unable to make the child stop crying. You go there, and the child starts smiling. Have you seen people like that?
Yeah.
They have just a gift when they deal with children. Or maybe sports. Write 10 things that you are good at doing. Number 2, write 10 things that you enjoy doing. You know what you are good at doing, you may not enjoy. Are you aware? There are many things you are good at. You are becoming a person. I don't like going there. But you are very good in technology. But you are not interested. So the first one, you are writing what you are good at. Second one, you are writing what you enjoy doing. Then thirdly, write 10 things you get a conviction. You feel God would want you to do. A conviction. It's not a question of whether you like or wouldn't, but you have a conviction. When you compare, you put the 3 papers together, the paper with the 10, 10, 10, you will see some things that are repeated in all 3. And that starts to tell you what your mission statement is. Because your mission statement has to do with the giftings of God and the interest God has given you and the conviction He has given you in order to go to a vision. Are we together? So it's important. Now, the moment you do what your calling is, you enjoy it. Because you are good at it, isn't it? You have an interest in it, isn't it? You believe God is happy when you do it. So every day you wake up to enjoy your work. So when you discover what God's calling is on your life, you will end up enjoying your life. That's why it's such an important subject. Number 3.
Time is irreplaceable. One-way traffic.
Life is one-way traffic.
Yeah, choose biology from 11.
From 2.
From 2, and decision to be a doctor in Form 6. Hardly possible.
Now, of course, that I'm using my own example. But you know, in Form 2 is when you used to choose subjects. And in Form 1 and 2, you have been so bad in biology, you drop it. Or the teacher was so ugly, you drop biology. Those are some of the things people use to make a decision. Only later, in Form 6, to want to become a doctor. Will you become a doctor? With biology. Now, you can see, life, that's the way I'm calling it. Time is irreplaceable. We are on a one-way traffic. And you know, if you are on a one-way traffic, when you turn at the roundabout and you take the wrong turn, you can't correct it. You have to keep going until the next roundabout. Am I right? And the next roundabout is called death. So it means life is irreplaceable. You can't go backwards. That's why you need to know you are calling as early as possible. Because if you are wasted 10 years, can you replace them? No. We are still answering the question, why is this subject so important? Why is this subject so important? So you have no time to waste. So you need to know as early as possible when that will be. And it means, some people feel like I'll bother with this subject later. Not understanding the decision you are making now. Like this one made a decision to marry a certain girl. You have to allow to divorce. Until death do us, even if she becomes a lioness, you stay there and pray for grace to tame the lioness. You are not allowed to change. So you need to understand, the earlier you can hear God's voice, the better. Because decisions are not reversible. And time is not reversible. It's very, very important to understand. So, and that's why young people, I have time, I can plant oats, wild oats. Have you heard of that? You plant wild oats and you meet your head. As a young man comes and says, you have not paid my school fees. Who are you? Let's do DNA. You are my father. And you are doing it as a young man, you are enjoying life. So if only you had known God early enough, would that embarrassment come? No. So hearing and getting to know God's voice is very, very important. Next. Who is reading next?
Resources only useful if you know their words. Galatians 4:1. Inheritance who does not know of the inheritance.
Read verse 4:1. If you don't know clearly what God wants in your life, you are likely to waste a lot of it. Read for us Galatians.
Now I say that the higher, as long as he is a child, departed nothing from a servant, though he be more than God.
We are talking about you inherit a billion shillings, but nobody tells you about it because you are below 18. You will be going to a slum school, not knowing you have enough money to pay for material. Are you together? So when you don't know what God wants with your life, you walk like a pauper because you don't know the resources God has for you. Next, read.
God actually has a plan for your life. Find it and follow it. If not, end with a wasted life trying to be a copy, born an original. Do not die a copy.
Yeah, you're trying to be like your uncle. You're trying to be like your father. Yet, if your father was the only one needed, you would not have been born. There's a reason different from your father. Everybody is an original. You know, the other day I was thinking, passing through the airport, and they were asking for my stamp. So I thought, how many billions of stamps? You know, everybody has two. How many billions do they have? I think we are now about 80 billion. But remember, they have been collecting stamps for many years. But so far, they have not discovered a stamp similar to another. Can you see how original God is? You are original. Don't die. If you don't know God's will, you are likely to start copying others. Yet God has a plan for your life, not for your father's life, for your life. I'd like you, after reading Galatians, to read the book of Acts chapter 13, verse 36.
Acts 13,
Yeah.
chapter 36. For when David had served God's purpose in his own generation, he fell asleep. He was buried with his fathers, and his body decayed.
Did he fulfill Jesse's purpose? Did he fulfill his own purpose? Whose purpose did he fulfill? God's purpose. That means you don't do what you like. You do what God wants. So that's important. Read the next one. Read.
God is willing to reveal His will for you. Psalms 32, verse 8.
Yeah. So don't feel like you are forcing God. Read it from the passage for us.
Psalm 32, verse 8. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you.
Yeah, that's God's promise, isn't it? That He's interested in giving you long-term details and even short-term detail. And finally, read next.
Lord will only get His will if willing to follow it. Story of woman's father at crossroads that kept being blown to the direction she did not want to follow, so repeated until it went to her preference.
Now, there's this woman who believes the way to hear God is to have a feather. Not a feather, but a feather. She throws it out. If it goes this direction, she follows it. If it follows this direction. But there's a direction she wanted to follow. So she kept throwing it until finally it went the direction. That's not the way to know God's will. And I think that's important. You know, God only wants you to know His will, but He cannot force you. So He may not show you His will, because you are not even willing to follow the one you already know. So it's important that what you know you are following, before you ask for what you don't know yet. There are two types of will. Because a lot of people say, how can I know God's will? Let's just look at this. Minor, you are the next to read. Oh, I'm blocking you. I apologize.
The first one, universal will or revealed will. already stated in the Bible and applicable to all believers. No need to seek it, just study the Bible. E.g., no marriage to non-Christians, 2 Corinthians 6:14.
But you can also believe for checking for him. Psalms 23:3. Otherwise, it was to read.
2 Corinthians 6:14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with dark?
Yeah, there's a boy interested in you, and he's driving a Mercedes, and he's so interested to marry you. You're a Christian girl. You know he's a non-Christian. Do you give it a second thought?
No.
Oh God, is it your will I marry him? That's a wasted prayer. God cannot contradict himself. So we don't pray about the revealed will. So even when we ask God, the will of God is in the Bible. Are you obeying it? Oh God, he looks so good. During my generation, one of our CU members, after we left campus, was a lawyer. She was trying she was interested in non-Christian. When I heard about it, I gave her a lift, someplace to. I said, where do you want to go? So that I have time to talk to her. She said, you people are saying I'm marrying a non-Christian, but he even went to church last Sunday. Now. From the time he became my friend, now he's starting to go to church. In fact, we are planning how you'll be baptized. And their marriage was tragic. Because he told me, Nganga, you are using the Bible to fight me. By the time I dropped her, she had called me all kinds of things. So I knew I had done my part. She still married the man. And they ended up with a tragic. And as we talk, both of them are not alive. Now you need to understand that the revealed will of God. Oh, how can I hear God's voice? Read it. It's already revealed. And that may take 90% of all your decisions. The answer is in the Bible. So you don't start asking what's God's will on a matter he has not revealed himself. So the decisions you are making, some are covered by the revealed will. My sister, read the next one. I'm still blocking you.
The second one is personal or specific will.
Did you read the psalm?
Psalms 23, verse 3 says, He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths.
He guides me. God guides me along the right. That is his promise.
For his name.
Now read the next.
Personal, a specific will. For an individual believer in a given circumstance, you must seek to know it. If you should brother A marry sister B.
That one is not in the Bible. Both, she's a sister, she's born again, she loves the Lord. You also love the Lord, but you marry her or not. That you can't get in the Bible. I've written it in a book called Finding a Life Partner, which Shadrach has read.
And
that's how he ended up married. Yeah, trying to help young people to go in making, because that's now what we call the personal will of God for your life. And in the personal one, you don't get it by reading. I still remember being asked by our former vice president, because when I was the CU chairman in 1975, and he was the secretary to one of the committees, the Sun Service Committee. So in 1983, the people in his rural area wanted to become an MP, because he was the first graduate, I think, to have the. Say, wow, our son must be the MP. So he called me as his former CU chairman, I guess, to discuss what does God want in Israel. We met. I used to work in Sheo BP House. We met at the back of the Sheo BP House. And I told him, brother, the will of God, the universal will of God is clear. It's okay for a Christian to go into politics. What you don't have is whether it's okay for you, brother, to enter into politics. So we need to pray. Of course, he went into politics and rose on the ladder right after vice president. So, but the important thing is to understand there's a difference between the universal will and the personal will. Now, I want to give you an exercise. I want every 3 people, you are 3 there, you are 2 here, you are 2 here, and you are 3 there. So you are 4. Okay, 4 of you, you just put the seat and make a group. Answer to me 3 questions. Create your group. Just put the chairs so that you can face each other. You're putting the chairs move. Question number 1. Give an example of a decision you needed to make and how God led you in making that decision. Give an example of a decision you wanted to make and how God led you. Because I'm not talking to new Christians. You are old Christians. Hey, you are too far away from your group. So you need to go nearer so that you can talk. Question number 2. List the number of ways God can show you your personal will. List the number of ways God can show you in your personal will. Number 3. For each way, state what the risks are. Each method you use, what are the risks in that method? I also want to learn from you. So it's not just a fake exercise. I'm also learning. So I also want to learn from you. How many minutes? 10 minutes. Big question. Remember, you're not debating. You're just stating. It's not an argument. So somebody says this way, you write it down. Don't tell him that's a useless way. Write exactly what he has said. Choose a rapporteur who will report back to the president. But the only 2 groups. So choose a chairman. Maybe the chairman is a rapporteur. But I don't know, it's you to decide who will go. And you choose the chairman first so that you are able to have 10 minutes. 10 minutes.